Hi everyone, welcome to the Knacklers workshop, and this is one of the Hotchpotch episodes. And for those of you, I don't think I've done one for about 5 months, so those of you who are new to the channel, these are just a general chit chat about what's happening in the workshop, any bits and pieces I've purchased, and just a general walk around the workshop. Normally I try and keep my videos sort of pretty focused on whatever the subject matter is, and don't go off into different tangents. So first of all, if you're new, thanks for hanging around. If you've been here a while, then you'll know the format, and again thanks for hanging around. So a couple of thank yous. This one's from 𝗓 over in Israel, and he's a small lathe channel. I'll put a link in the description, and this is a little sort of slug thing he makes. It's in resin, and these are little things from the Dead Sea, salt from the Dead Sea. It's pretty cool, and he had a subscriber draw and I won that, so thanks for that, 𝗓. And he also sent me over, he makes these sweets and they were lovely, and I ate them all in one sitting. So yeah, that's cool. These let me take them off, lift up as heavy as you like. So these were Andrew Dolinski from the Carpathian Foundry. I went to visit Andrew and just had a smashing day with him, and he showed me he's got a machine that these are made of lead, and these are the printing oh sorry Andrew, I don't know what they're called, the letters but his machine makes these, and he set it up and it's fabulous. Again, I'll put a link to Andrew's channel, but it's really good. And Andrew's got a _𝗲𝗡𝗔𝗥𝗦 lathe, same as me. Andrew's got a 𝗲𝗟 mill, same as me. So we had a lot of good chats, and I had a really nice time, so many thanks for that, Andrew. And these are so cool, and I really would suggest anyone, I will put the link to Andrew's channel, and you can see how he make his machine go, and it's amazing, this thing. Yeah, so that's that. What else? And so we'll start to look at some of the bits and bobs that I've purchased. Oh well, this is actually, I purchased this quite a long time ago, and this is another collet system for the 𝗲𝗡𝗔𝗡𝗥. I think it works on the ML7 and the Super 7. And I saw Duncan Bullock, he's got one on his 𝗲𝗡𝗔𝗡𝗥, and when I looked at his, I was thinking there's a bit missing from here, and so I took some photos and I sent Duncan an email, and he very kindly made a plan. There is a bit missing, and so I'm going to, with all the measurements, and it's fabulous, so I'm going to manufacture that, because at the moment this is another thing, and I'd like to try it and show you guys what it's all about. So so that's on my to-do list, to make the bit, and thanks to Duncan for helping out with all the dimensions. Smooth that over there. So what have we got now? Yeah, I am a bit murder for watching people's videos and thinking I want one. So this is a little air compressor, and as you can see, it's all, you know, very small. And I saw this on Alan from 𝗪𝗡𝗔𝗡𝗥. I forgot Alan's channel, sorry Alan, it'll come back to me in a minute. Alan's channel, and I'll put a link to, because he restored one of these, and it was just a cool little compressor, and I did it, as I always do, a save search on eBay, and eventually one popped up at a reasonable price. I've done nothing with it, so that's just another little job on the to-do list the to-do list is very big. So yeah, that's a cool little compressor. And I had a little idea of having, rather than piping everything round the workshop, to be able to just have like a tool cart with this sitting on, and then just move it to whatever, you know, whether it's at the bench or at the lathe. So I'm taking the small compressor to the machine I'm working on. So that was the logic behind having a very small one. And obviously, because it's got no tank, it's air on demand, and really I only want it to blow swarf away and that sort of stuff. So this is another interesting one. Now this is I purchased this as a combination of watching two things. I watched Dave Ticehurst, who's a British chap over in living in Australia, and again, if you don't know Dave, I'll put a link to his channel, and he talked about these. And then talking with Andrew, when I visited Andrew, he had something similar. So it's like the Clarkson's auto-lock ones. So for your milling machine, so you screw your milling cutters into it, and then this is the Morse taper that goes up into your spindle. So I said to Andrew how they were quite expensive and quite hard to find with the Morse taper too, and he told me about this Titanic brand. So or Osborne Titanic. So again, another Save search, one appeared, so I was lucky enough to get that. So we'll see that on the at some time on the milling machine. What we got next? So here's another one. I watched Keith Fenner, and this is you know, to put your dial indicator on when you're on your milling machine. So another Save search, one popped up. You can get a lot of offshore sort of copies, but this is a genuine one. I've still got I got the original bill of sale from when it was shipped in the US, and yeah, pretty good. But in my craziness, I forgot to measure it, so it's actually too small for the door Westbury. So yeah, cool, but I can't actually use it, so a slight mistake there. But it's in fabulous condition. So anyway, I'll need to work out what I'm going to do with that. Next thing, watching Matty's workshop. I saw how he was doing the etching, and he did a good video on that. Again, I put a link to that, and I thought I'd like to have a go. So I just bought a power supply to be able to do it. Yeah, so that's another thing I purchased. I wasn't sure which one to get. I think this may be the same as Alan at Retrotech Steam. Oh, so sorry, Alan. Anyway, I will make sure I put Alan's proper name in there. So that's that. Next thing, again, this is following what I watched on another channel. So move this up. So this is a tapping head. I got this. I saw on Ollie's workshop, and this is an 𝗪𝗔𝗔𝗡𝗥, and this is smashing condition. It's got some collets, so we'll see this in action. Been trying to get a few more bits in readiness for some jobs I want to do on the milling machine. The only downside was it was a Morse taper one, so I put a Morse taper 2 sleeve on it. But it is in actually really lovely condition, so that was quite pleasing, and it was at a reasonable price. Right, what we got next then? So those of you wondering what's happening with the clock project, it's not forgotten. It's just I just got to get some of these machines going first. So we will progress it. And I watched Tommy Jobson doing a recent video, and he was using this wax polish to polish the brass on one of his clocks. So I purchased some of that, so that's going to go and sit with the all the brass for the clock. You can see a theme here, can't you guys? I've just watched someone else's video and away I go. So next, what have we got here? So, and as we carry on that theme, this is, so plug it into the mains. I need to replace the cable, but if it's quite a good thing, because then you can just put bare wires in and then just clamp them on just to test something. It's all fused. It's a very old bit of kit, and Ian Matthews, I saw that on his channel, he's got one, and this is all Bakelite. It's really old, but seems to be okay. So once I've changed the cable, I've got a nice bit of kit there to help me moving forward. Next one, cool, we'll listen through here. Fusion 360. So I went on a 3-day course in Bristol, which is, I don't know, about 100 odd miles away from my home, and just to learn the basics of Fusion 360. It was really, I felt it was a good course, and I came away with a lot more understanding than I think I would have got by just teaching myself. So I'm going to do some more work on that, and I've got a video coming out sort of relatively soon where I talk about the purpose of learning this and why I'm doing that. So that was it was quite interesting, and I feel a bit more confident messing around with it. And I've been doing a little bit back in the man cave, and it's been quite fun really. But I really am page 1, chapter 1 on that. So we'll move that out of the way. Let's get another thing. So here we've got is it's like a stopwatch clock, and I was trying to make a video for you guys when I was using the Unimat SL. I was just turning up something, and I know they're quite renowned for having the motors overheating, because it's a genuine motor. So what I had the idea of this, I could set it say for 10 minutes and then just run, and the alarm would go off, and then I would know I need to stop and let it have a little cool down. I think maybe 10 minutes is a bit on the cautious side, I'm not sure, but time will tell. It was just to stop me getting carried away, and you know, I don't really have the budget to change the motor, and I'd rather use the genuine one really. So so that was another little purchase, and I've subsequently done some more turning on it, and I used it, and it does just starts going off and makes you think, hang on, I need to just have a break, go and get a cup of coffee or something. And there will be a video where I'm doing some turning. It was, as I was filming it, it became very apparent I needed to do something in a different way to make the video of value to you. So it will come, but in a little while. Yeah. Another little eBay purchase. Just some different gauges. It was a job lot. Radius gauges, thread gauges. I've got more feeler gauges than I know what to do with, but actually I can use them for packing on the Unimat, cut them down. Some thread pitch gauges, more feeler gauges. So they weren't very expensive, but it was nice to have a good selection of the radius ones. So that's quite good. What else we got? Multimeter. Not that I'm pretty electrically deficient. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing with electronics or electric, and so I bought it. What I'll do with it, I don't know, but anyway, I've got one. A really cool book, and I was quite drawn to it because it was made in 1959, which is when I was made. So, well, I guess I was made in 1958, but I arrived in 1959, so that was good. you will have seen in the thank you video to Almost Machining, I've been getting some bits and pieces together to start to do some hand scraping. Not quite there yet. Lots on, as I say, well, as you will have seen, lots on a to-do list, but just starting to get the equipment going. And to be honest, the precision ground flat stones are pretty useful around the workshop anyway. So yeah, so that's about it. Oh no, I've got a couple of new bits, but I think we'll leave the bench here and I'll go handheld and I'll walk around and show you what's going on in the workshop. Alright, so I'll be back in a minute. Hi everyone, so now we're on the walk around bit. It is actually several hours later because the GoPro 7 gave up the ghost, so we're on the GoPro 11. So first thing we've got up there is a bit of wall art. So that was a giant 𝗪𝗪𝗢𝗪 micrometer that Ian Matthews gave me a while back, and it's taken me forever, like most things do, to get it on the wall. I think it's slightly higher than one end than the other, so I'm sure that'll drive me crazy and I'll have to fix it. So nothing really going on much with the 𝗲𝗪𝗔𝗡𝗥 other than getting the other collet thing going. It worked really well during the Emma's rough cut 2022, and that was a fun project to be involved in. So the only thing I'm starting to do now, as winter approaches here in the UK, you know, things do rust up here, so just making sure I get the covers down there, cover everything up when I'm not using them, to try and sort of keep things a bit better. Let's just have a walk round. So we've got the Unimat SL set up as it was, as I left it on Rough Cut 2022. This is another little purchase. So this is an old toolmaker's cabinet, and I bought this from a guy who lives really close to me. It was on eBay. It's a bit tired. As we can see, we've got a screw missing. And I think it's the runners that the drawers go on have been rejigged because none of it lines up. But none of that matters, because it's just become a perfect store to put all the unibats in. So I've got chucks, I've got the old Tommy bars, chuck keys, things like that, centres. What we got here? We got fixed steady dividing attachments and face plates, and it's just actually worked out quite well. Some milling clamp down things. I don't think I've ever shown you that. That's an original Unimat tool set, you know, lathe bits. So that's quite interesting to show that in more detail one day. And then down there I've got the thread cutting attachment and such like. And then most of these I've done the old Vic stuff. So if you're not aware, if you've not seen that before, there's a video called in the Weekend Workshop Tips series, or something for the weekend playlist, and it's, if you use Vic Vapor Rub, it helps prevent rust, and it's really nice. Every time I go to get something from here, you get a nice smell of Vic. So yeah, it's pretty good, and nothing's rusting, so it seems to be working. So super pleased with that. And James, the guy here I got it from, he was really funny. As I first spoke to him, he recognised me from my voice from YouTube, and he watches the videos. So he kindly, so I got that. He gave me some additional bits for the 𝗲𝗪𝗔𝗡𝗥, and he's got a fabulous workshop. I was trying to encourage him to get to make a few videos. Yeah, it's got beautiful Bridgeport milling machine and a lovely lathe. Yeah, it's very good. He's a really nice guy, yeah. So the 𝐏𝐋𝐀𝐾𝐋, it conked out on me the other day. Just needed a bit of cleaning up actually all around here. So I just took it apart, give it a good clean up, an oil, and everything's tickety-boo. It's been a fabulous little machine. As long as you don't want to do anything too big, it chugs away. The shaper, so I'm starting to, I've been messing around. I don't know if you can see. So I've sort of got some dodgy old setup here with a motor and some pulleys for gears. And then I've got a bit of string on there. I was trying to measure up the length of the belt. So I'm hoping to progress this one and get this going. The other, we've got the decal that's still on the to-do list. It really will be handy, you know, as I'm now doing more and more machining to have that going. So I think I might, this is a simpler task, I might get this going first and then the decal, start work on that one. I moved the surface grinder over here. I'm making not a lot of progress. I've dismantled a bit more, but again that's probably the third after the decal, then we'll get back to that. An old Brompton in bits that's going nowhere. What we got here? We got the Unimat. I use this one now and again, but I'm going to take it out of service soon and clean it all up, because it's just, it just came out the box from wherever I purchased it from, and you know, it probably could do with a bit of love, really. Now this is a really good, I was really pleased with this machine voice, and this came from James, the guy I got the little toolmaker's cabinet from. And the tolerances with this in here are fabulous. It's pretty nice. There's not too many apprentice marks. And what I hope to do, based on two different videos I've watched. One, I'd like to make some new jewels, and I was watching Robin Renzetti, a really old video. I can't think what they're called, but he made them so they were very small screws, so you had a better clamping thing, and basically differential screws. So what you're doing is you're screwing it in there, one's a left hand and one's a right hand, so as you still need a very small hole there, just enough to get an Allen key through, and as you turn it, because they're both different hand threads, it pulls it in. So you're just doing up the Allen thing and then it'll pull it in. So it's a really good idea, because then you negate all this stuff sticking out. And another idea I got from Dave M's channel, and he what he's done on one of his smaller voices, because if you're trying to clamp something round, it's a bit of a challenge when you've only got a relatively small voice to put a V-block in. So on the top of each jaw, what he's done, he's tapped a hole, or drilled and tapped a hole, and put a little round, I think he's got brass, so he's got one sort of bush standoff. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And what it does is you can then put something round in between, and they hold it tight. And he said, you know, I checked with him and he said it works well, especially on these smaller ones. So I think I will do those. Well, initially I'm going to just get it going, get it back together, and then I will back on the to-do list to make some new jaws and do what I've said. This has got a smashing, okay, well lived in. This handle is, I like, as you know, I like old junk. So what we got around here? So we've got a Unimat SL electric motor. Now I've stripped this right down. It's took me quite a while and to work out how to get it completely apart. There's only one little bit I still haven't worked out, but I'm definitely going to make a video on this, because I think it will be of value to anyone planning on changing the bearings or anything like that. So yeah, that'll be a video coming up. I bought this little grinder. It's 400 revs or 4,000 RPM. What I had the plan was to have 2 identical grinding wheels, just fine stuff, because you can see we've got a steel surface here. What I was going to do is mill one up at one, different angles on either side. So then when I'm doing the HSS cutting tools for the Unimat, it would work well. The guy sort of led me to believe that it was in really good condition, but actually it needs new bearings. I was, to be truthful, very disappointed when I got it. I think in reality, when I checked the listing, he hadn't actually said it. It was just through our email or messaging, because I was trying to knock him down on the price. But anyway, live and learn. But I think it will, with a bit of work, be suitable for what I want to do. And I'm going to put it on one of these boards we saw in the Weekend Workshop tips, number 8 I think it was. So fit it to that so it fits over on the Chippy's Voice, or like that onto the Workmate. We've got another Unimat SL here. We're going gold on this one. That's sort of pretty much done. That's just had one coat, so I've got to do some more on that. And when that one comes out of service, what I'm going to do is get this one going. So I just got a second one, and probably have this one set up as the milling sort of machine, so there's not so much changing around. So that's in progress. I can't see there be any. I don't plan to make any videos on this or this. So we got a bike stand. So I got that for $9.99 on eBay. Just needed a bit of work up on this clamp. So it's a maintenance stand. So that was pretty good. The 𝐒𝐄𝐅𝐔𝐋 Star woodworking machine. It actually nothing's happened to it since the last update. However, I have purchased, and I haven't collected, so I don't know what condition, but I'm hoping to collect next week, all the missing parts that I don't have, that this didn't have. So I believe what I will have is a very, very complete system. So that'd be quite good, and we can show some of that in future videos. Seems for some reason they seem to get a lot of views. It'd be nice if you actually could see me using it, but being carpentry, I'm a little bit lacking. But as we've got a joinery shop downstairs, we can hopefully benefit from those guys giving me a bit of advice. But I'm just trying to get it all going first. We've seen the sensitive drilling machine, so not much gone on there since the last, I think it was the 60-second Sunday when I showed it in action with a very blunt drill, which wasn't so clever. Oh, the other thing, I've taken a lead from Ian Matthews, and I've got a friend who owns 3 bicycle shops here where I live, and he's given me all these, any old bikes that they just want to scrap, any wheels that people buy a new one and just want to get rid of their old one. So I've got some big bolt cutters for cutting through spokes, and I'm just starting to build up. We've got stainless steel, and aluminium. So, and about 250 yards from this workshop is a scrap metal place. So the theory is I can just fill them up when they're, got enough, walk over there, and might as well just get a few bob to help out run the channel. Door Westbury, well, what I've actually got, this is working quite well. I'm doing a bit more on it now, and the only thing I'm thinking of doing, I've purchased the VFD, and I'm not sure whether to put it onto the shaping machine or onto here, because it is a bit of a pain, keep trying to changing the pulleys and all that. So I might actually do it on the shaper first. It was relatively inexpensive. If I can work out how to get it going there, then I may then get a second one for the door westbury. So that's good. And I got on the to-do list to put a shelf in, and I'm going to put one of the toolboxes underneath it. As the what do we call it? The surface grinding machine is sort of not making any progress. I've stole the stand from it temporarily, and this has made the 𝗞𝗟𝗔𝗥𝗦 very stable now, so that's pretty good. And I've got a fly cutter for it that goes in. These are like long W8 or 8mm collets, and I've got another one with a drill track on. And I bought something, and I ended up with this sort of I don't know what you call it, but attachment. It's not really for this, but it probably could be used on that, or even on the 𝗏𝗧𝗜𝗏. So that's really where we are with that. But this base has really made a tremendous amount of difference to stability. So I will be trying to manufacture a different one for this, for the 𝗞𝗟𝗔𝗔𝗡𝗥, so this can go back to the surface grinder when I get that done. What we got in here? So in the clean room, that's not very clean. It just becomes a dumping ground really most of the time. Yeah, but that's what it is. That's the way it is. And we got in the storeroom, the big store cupboard. I think I've put shelves in here since we last the last Hotchpotch. Someone who doesn't want to be identified gave me a load of it's a bit like WD-40, so that's you know, thanks for that. That's good stuff. So I've just got cleaning products on the bottom. I've got paint and sort of wax and stuff like that. I've got screws and washers and things in tubs, and because I started from scratch, I just bought packs just to get me going on many things, so they're pretty good. Ultrasonic cleaner, Scotch Brite, and then sort of oils and cutting fluid up there. Yeah, well, none of that, you know, these are just all the tools in there. I'm not going to go through there. They're the Kennedy boxes, so I'm going to put one of them under the milling machine at some time when I get the shelf. But this is planned for this room to eventually be the surface grinding room. So yeah, that's really about it on what's going on around in the workshop. Yeah, I can't think of anything more that we've got. So at some time we'll see a lot of these bits and pieces in action. Yeah. So anyway, well, we'll call it a day there. So as always, many thanks for watching. Stay happy, strong and healthy, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheerio.